Hi, my name is Boopadoop and welcome to Arknights Crash Course. We'll be going over to the Invitation to Hawaiian enemies, specifically the regular and elite enemies. We will be covering the boss in a different video. Let's start with the first enemy you see, the Grindstone Own slash Bright Mirror, which are these enemies right here. They are the quote-unquote dog enemy of this event. They have a decent HP. They have 2,030 or 3,100 HP, a 310 or 390 attack, 0 defense, and 20 resistance. Your marksman snipers can easily take them out, as well as their ads. So, before I continue, I should mention that each enemy spawns ads in this event. And when I mean ads, they die and then more enemies pop out. Those ads, instead of having HP, need a certain amount of hits to take out. Because of this, operators that have multiple hits and area of effect attacks are considered very good for this event. I will be bringing up some examples of those later on in the video. So, back to the Grindstone and the Bright Mirror. The Grindstone and the Bright Mirror, they spawn two ads, and the Grindstone ads needs 2 hits to beat, while the Bright Mirror needs 3. They're not terrifically terrifying enemies, but their numbers can overwhelm you if you're not being careful, as they do move very fast. Next are the what I will call the melee mooks, because that's what they are. They're melee attackers with relatively low HP, decent attack, low defense, and no resistance. They spawn 3 ads, as opposed to the Grindstones 2, and their ads need 3 to 4 hits to beat, depending on whether it's the normal version or the upgraded version, which is this red version right here. Moving on to the Peacocks, which are much more terrifying because they also have the added trait of taunting your operators. So if your ranged operator has one of these peacocks in range and one of the grindstones or melee moves, they will attack the peacock over the other enemy simply because these peacocks have a taunt. They have a medium amount of HP between 6,500 and 8,000, depending on whether it's the normal or upgraded version, is a good amount of attack. So if they're in melee with some of your vanguards, chances are your vanguards will need some assistance. They have a large amount of defense, so your marksmen and snipers won't be able to take them out very easily. But if you have anyone who does any modicum of arts damage, they'll be able to take care of these peacocks with little help, as they have no resistance. However, their ads do need a lot of hits. They need 30 or 35 hits to beat, but they only spawn one of them. So again, if you get caught off guard by these peacocks, their ads can leak because if you don't have enough hits or have enough multi-hit attackers. The next are these guys. These are the ranged physical attackers of this event, and they have a decent amount of HP, 6,000 or 7,600. They have a decent amount of attack, 4 or 500, a decent amount of defense, 4 or 500 defense, and 30 resistance. Their ads need 3 to 4 hits to beat, and they spawn around 15 of them every time they die. Now, these aren't terrifying when they're alone, but when you pair them up with the enemies that were previously mentioned, they're actually quite terrifying because they can attack your ranged operators and quickly take them down, unless of course they're a phalanx caster, or because of their medium attack. Because most ranged operators have around 1 to 150 defense, and on the higher side. So after a few hits, your ranged operators will have less than 50% HP, or maybe they'll even die, depending on how much you're paying attention. And when they do die, they can also catch you off guard because they spawn just a huge amount of ads. However, if they're alone, they're not super terrifying. your marksman snipers can take them out with some help depending on their level, and so can your casters. You just need to keep in mind that they do spawn 15 adds. Now the next one is the first caster of this event. It's their teapots essentially, right? Right, so they do have one thing. They do splash damage, so they do damage in a plus sign around it. So basically, they'll hit the target and one tile around the target in a plus sign, essentially, right? They don't have a lot of attack. They only have 280 or 360 attack, which isn't very high, and that's not their main point. Their main point is that they have very middling stats except for HP and res, but when they die, they spawn on 4 adds that need arts or true damage to beat. If you hit them with physical damage, those adds will not die, even if you hit them 100, 200 times, right? Not only that, when they die, they damage operators around them as well as lowering their attack speed, so it'll be even harder to take out any adds. However, these aren't numerous. These teacups or teapots, they won't show up in large numbers. They'll, at most, they probably won't even go into the double digits on most maps. There'll only be a few of them. The same goes for the next enemy, which are these dragon type vases, the blue flowers and the scarlet mist. Now, why do I know they're enemies? Because they're terrifying. I hate them. I hate them with a burning passion, but I also love them because they're very scary, and I like scary enemies. So they have a good amount of HP, 7,000 to 8,000 HP, depending on whether it's the upgraded version or not. They have a decent amount of attack because they do arts damage, so they'll be ignoring any defense stats that you have. They have a good amount of defense too, so your marksman snipers will need help taking them out, and they have 50 to 65 res. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave out the 50 res, but their adds need 12 to 14 arts or true damage hits to beat, so physical damage will not work against their adds, but they only spawn 1 of them as opposed to the teapot's 4. And the reason why they're so scary is that they have a scary damage over time ability. Every third attack, they will release they will attack an operator and add a debuff, which is a damage over time. The damage over time ability, as more time passes, the damage will increase, and it lasts for like 20 or 30 seconds. It's insane. And so basically any operator that is not getting healed will die from that damage over time. So if you're not paying attention, the blue flower or the scarlet mist, whichever one spawns, they can take out a good portion of your team if you ignore them. However, they're very susceptible to physical damage in their blue flower or scarlet mist form, as they have quite low defense. So again, your marksman snipers will be able to take them out somewhat quickly depending on their levels, but they will need some help to take out the adds, as the adds need arts or true damage to take out. The next are another scary and terrifying enemies, which are the sinking sands and the sharp edges. Is now the reason why they're terrifying is because they have a lot of HP and a lot of attack. They have 11,000 or 14,000 HP, depending on whether it's the upgraded version or not. 1,100 or 1,350 attack, 600 or 750 defense, and 30 res. They spawn 1 to 4 adds depending on the situation, and those adds need 25 to 30 hits to beat. So the reason why they're very terrifying is, even though they're a melee attacker, they move very fast, and when they're in melee, they will hit for at least 1,800 damage because they spawn with 4 stacks. They consume one of those stacks to deal increased damage, which is plus 70% of their attack, but they lose that stack. So for every stack when they die that they still have, they spawn an add with a minimum of 1. So if they lose all 4 stacks, they'll still spawn 1 add, but if they never attack, they'll spawn 4 adds. If they attack twice, they'll spawn 2 adds when they die. And that's the reason why they're so terrifying, is because your defenders, unless you have a good defender skill up, they will tear through any melee operator, but then only spawn on one ad. But if you leave them alone and kill them without engaging them in melee, they'll spawn 4 ads that are decently hard to take out because of how many hits they need to take out, as well as spawning multiple of them. But like the blue flower and teapots, they aren't numerous. They won't come in the double digits. They'll probably be maybe 4 at most per map. You can prove me wrong if you'd like. Be like, oh, there's like 20 of them in this one map. That would surprise me, though. And then the final enemy are the Clarity and the Magnificence, which they're honestly not too terrifying, which is fine. But that's in their combat ability. In terms of their utility, they are very terrifying because they have a large amount of HP and defense and middling resistance, right? And so because they're so tanky, they're decently hard to take out, even if you use arts damage, because the higher one's HP is, the worse arts damage is against them. But they have low resistance, so it's not too bad, right? They only spawn 1 ad, but their ads need 35 or 45 hits to beat, depending on whether it's the upgraded version or not. And again, the reason why they're so terrifying in combination with their tankiness is because they make allies invisible for a short period of time. And there is no target cap for those allies to become invisible. So for example, if one of these guys die and they spawn 15 of those ads, and then this guy makes them invisible, all of a sudden you can't take them out, and it's very possible that you'll either leak these guys or panic, and then while you're trying to deal with them, maybe a Scarlet Mist or a Blue Flower takes out a key operator, and then you leak someone anyway. So these guys can definitely mess you up if you are not careful, but again, taking them out with arts damage is the best way to go, as they have too much defense for any marksman snipers, or they'll need a good physical damage skill to take them out relatively easily. Now, for Now for some examples as to what operators you could use. Blue Poison is one of them. Ethan is one of them. The reason why Blue Poison is so good here is because of this neurotoxin of her talent. So because she deals arts damage, she'll be able to take out those arts or true damage ads because of this poison. And not only that, she's multi-target, so she'll be able to hit multiple ads at the same time using her skills, making her a decent target. And because she's a marksman sniper, she'll be attacking at least once per second and be able to take out at least half of the enemies. When I say half of the enemies, I mean half of the types of enemies. The only enemies she's not taking out are the ones with high defense, so the sharp edges, the clarities, the peacocks. But every other enemy she'll take out with moderate difficulty. The second operator that I would recommend is Ethan. Ethan's really good because of his skill. So, at skill level 7, this will deal damage for 4 seconds, right? That's 4 instances of damage. So with one attack from him, other than the ads that require 10 or hits or above, all of a sudden all of those ads are gone, right? Because of this one skill. Because they deals 4 instances of damage over 4 seconds, not including the instance of physical damage that he does, right? Now, because of this, he can basically camp your blue box or be close to your blue box and take out almost every ad that comes his way because of this skill. He might need some help with the ads that require like 30 plus hits to beat, But even if you leave him alone with them, he'll take out a considerable chunk of their health anyway. I heard Chongyue is also really good for this event because he's got AoE skills and AoE hits with his skill 2 and his skill 3, so that's also another thing. Another thing would be Gravel. Gravel's really good here, not because she does hits, but because she can tank the Scarlet Mist and the Blue Flower, right? Right, so when she takes their special ability, you can just retreat her, and the Scarlet Mist and the Blue Flower are at that point. If you let them get off a second or third, a second dot, that at that point I think you're ignoring them too much. But if you manage to block their first their first dot with Gravel, you're basically good to go. Another would. I guess Project Red isn't terrible here because she's got that AoE stun, right? But essentially what you're looking for is you're looking for a lot of AoE because of all the ads, and you're looking for a lot of multiple instances of damage, like Blue Poison or ETH in Skill 1, right? What do you call it? Something like an AoE guard like Gavial or Spectre here, it's not terrible, but they're not, I wouldn't count them as reliable enough to hold a lane because of the amount of ads that can come their way, right? Like, for example, if they're facing off the Grindstones, where is it? Here they are. If they're facing off any of these, right? Because these are coming in big numbers, right? Let's say 3 of these are coming at once. An AoE guard can't take out all of the ads by themselves because of their target cap, right? So having that range from a ranged unit would help them out, but any multiple instances of damage, of course, also helps, right? But those are just a few examples. I'll go more in depth on what you could bring into maps when I do the EX stages. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.